So I think I've mentioned before on this channel that I use like 2 social medias, sometimes 2.5 if I'm feeling adventurous. My social media feed is highly curated, you know? I spent years crafting the perfect feed, letting the algorithm gods know that I like a very limited and peculiar set of nostalgia bait and sanitized memes. And because of that, my feed is very predictable. Sad to most, but just the way my anxiety likes it. However, once in a blue moon, a cursed image or video will make its way onto my dash. And oh boy, was the video I saw about 2 months ago so cursed. Now, before I show you the video that I saw, if you are eating anything, stop right now. You're gonna regret it if you keep eating while you watch this video. You might think, oh, Sir Sugarmeat's just being ridiculous again. I'm not gonna let some red hair pronoun snowflake tell me what to do. Trust me, bro, it's not worth being alpha for this, okay? Just put down the venison recovery burger. I swear I won't tell anyone you stop for me. I've given you proper warning, okay? So I'm gonna play the video and don't say I didn't warn you.
Sarada. Ah! はい、完成。いただきます。
If this was your first time seeing this video and you're traumatized now, I'm sorry. And if you are still eating and threw up your food while you watch that video, I'm not sorry. I tried to warn you. Don't waste food though. You better slurp that food back up. Well, I'm waiting. Maybe this is your first time seeing this guy, but maybe for others, you've seen him before because he is quite well known on TikTok. And a multitude of YouTubers have reacted to his videos about 2 years ago. But no one's really made a video yet explaining what this guy's deal is, so that's what I'm here to do today. Now guys, even though I've seen this video before, it still hurts me. Trust me, as you were writhing in pain, I too was writhing. We're essentially a writhing wiggle worm party. But believe it or not, this dish was pretty tame compared to some of the other ones this guy's made. For example, let me show you how this man cooks his steak. Yes, you saw correctly. The juices go directly into the mattress. So if you're like me, at this point, you might feel a mixture of extreme disgust, yet curious fascination with this man. Huh? No? Just the disgust part? Well... oh. Get ready for the info dump anyway. This man goes by the name Haritsu, and you can find him most active on TikTok, and then on Instagram, and occasionally YouTube. His main crimes against humanity are cooking with rotten food, having an extremely dirty apartment, having a secret compartment in his hair for chopsticks. I don't know, I'm kind of a little more jealous of that one. And sometimes chewing ingredients and spitting them out onto dishes instead of actually chopping them when he has a perfectly good knife and cutting board. So when I first saw this video, I thought, this has to be rage bait, right? This man doesn't actually live like this, right? This is all staged, just some TikTok magic. I can't exactly confirm this or not, as my Japanese remains at a kindergartner's level.
Hi, Sensei! How are you? Oh, here comes the airplane! Oh, I'm made stinky winky!
So I don't know what he says in his videos or his TikTok lives 80% of the time. And that is what some people believe, but his viewers can't really seem to reach a consensus. There's no way this is real, right? His bed would look way worse if this was a regular occurrence, no? This person is not mentally well. It could be someone living in an absolute sty, but I do have to wonder. I bet the dick is insane. Oh yeah, I should mention that for whatever reason, a lot of people thirst over this guy too. I know his place is a set. That's why you see lack of real bugs in his vids.
Are you sure about that?
今日もシンプルでいく。一回火通していきますね。マジか。これお届けします。よし。うわー、ごめん、マヨネーズだけ怖いんで。もうこのぐらいでいいや。はい、これ見て。
He doesn't have bugs because he eats them. That comment aside, I saw some interesting theories out there claiming that Haritsu is actually a professional chef. When I first heard this theory, I laughed a little. Like, no real chef could make content like this without crying, right? Could you imagine if, like, Carmi from The Bear saw content like this? He would lock himself in the walk-in willingly, I bet. It would make him start smoking again. Or worse, could you imagine Gordon Ramsay reacting to this content?
You're making me mad! Yes, chef. Fucking mad!
But you know me, I'm an open-minded sucker, okay? I rewatched the tonkatsu video, and there were two parts of interest to me that convinced me that this man might actually be a real chef. See, there's this part right here where he chops up the cabbage, and then this part here where he flips the tonkatsu. When he chops up the cabbage, he does so in a way that is so fast and so masterful that it tells me that he is someone with perhaps real kitchen experience. The same goes for how he flips the meat in the pan. That is a searing hot pan, and he just goes in there with his bare, unprotected hands and flips it himself. I have only seen the Latina grandmas in my community who have worked at the same restaurant for over 40 years do that shit. They have no more feeling in their hands, and I don't think this guy has feeling in his hands either. Plus, it is also a little apparent that he may have kitchen experience when he dresses up his meat bowl very nicely. Now granted, this could just be a guy who unironically practices a lot of cooking off camera. It could be explained that way, I wasn't sure yet, more on that later. There's also the claim that the kitchen shown in his videos is actually just a creative studio. I was admittedly on the fence whether this was a rented studio or not until Haritsu released this video.
今がアイディア僕一番最初がいいですかこれ靴脱ぎます
パンツ
待ってシラ君そっちから行ってる
バイバイ今日は皆さんありがとうございました。
Yep, you saw correctly. Haritsu's friends are helping him clean. And yes, he has friends. A lot of friends, actually. It's wild that this guy has a healthier social circle than me with an apartment that looks like that. Meanwhile, my apartment looks the exact same, and I have like -2 times the amount of friends shown in his video. All I have are enemies. Help me. Granted, this could be staged too. You could argue that they just cleaned this up to help trick spectators like me into believing that the content is real, but it just doesn't make that much sense to me. Like, why would you clean his studio if you're just gonna continue to make gross content there? But then, this article from Vice was released in January 15th of this year. In the article, they interview Haritsu directly, where he confirms that his videos are unfortunately real. But it doesn't stop there, because the information that Haritsu reveals in this interview is even more shocking than the fact that his videos aren't faked. Vice asked, "Hey Haritsu, so what inspired you to choose this brand for your online content?" And he said, "I've been eating rotten food long before I started a TikTok account." Alright, I'm gonna have to stop you right there, Chief. How long have you been doing this for? Not only does he make shock value content, but he was just doing shock value things for free years before he started posting his shit online. I will do anything to not feel bored. So yeah, this is how I started liking the taste of rotten food. During the time, I was also struggling financially, so I thought maybe if I made a video of it, of myself eating the rotten food, it will be something unique on TikTok. Even though I like nice food like normal people, I don't mind trying out new things. Well, old things. Haha. Oh my god. Okay, to do it out of curiosity or because of financial struggles is like one thing, but then also to actually like it is a little insane to me. I mean, I suppose I could like justify it because if you're in an ongoing struggle with your finances, sometimes the only option is to fall in love with your only option, right? I don't know, does that make sense? Is it cope? As they say, sometimes Delulu is the Solulu. I'm sorry I said that. Don't ever use the word Delulu. What was your first taste of rotten food? In 2020, It was 2-month-old fungus-covered beef. I still remember how it felt on my hands. It was a thick slime that slipped between my fingers. I was scared but excited. I recalled thinking, can I eat this? I thought maybe if I washed it with soap and cooked it, the bacteria and the worms would die. So I cooked it, but it still tasted like rotten meat. It smelled like a garbage bin. On my tongue, it tasted like what you think sewage water would taste like. I have like a really weak stomach, so I don't know why I decided to do this video. I'm glad he didn't make that into a video that I could see with my eyes. 2-month-old fungus is nasty, let alone meat fungus, okay? I don't know, I think meat fungus is like worse than bread or veggie fungus. I don't fuck with that shit, alright? I don't know, I just have this notion in my mind that like meat fungus is like so much worse for you. Like so much deadlier. I'm freaking out by the thought of it, and I'm like, my brain is short-circuiting. But at the same time, like, you know, I can't blame the guy too much. Alright, this is gonna be like TMI and gross, but I have eaten my fair share of moldy food. Alright, I'm gonna admit it. Never willingly though, that's the difference between me and him. Mostly out of lack of observation that my food had gone bad. Unfortunately, I've eaten enough moldy food to know very well what moldy food tastes like. That's the unfortunate part. That's how often I've eaten it. And you know what? Bread and fruit mold, it tastes like how old people smell. If you've never eaten mold before, well, now you know, alright? Smell an old person, that's what the mold tastes like. Inspect your food, guys. What's your favorite moldy food? It's most probably the rotten tofu that I had. It tasted really good, maybe I cooked it right. I can kinda believe that. I mean, fermented tofu is a thing. What's the most disgusting food you ever had so far? There's two. The first is rotten eggs. Even after washing, it stinks. The second one is rice covered in layers of fungus and worms. I hate worms. They give me the ick. It's on TikTok. When I prepped that food, I felt like puking. I thought to myself, no more. Alright, Haritsu, I want to believe you, man. I want to believe that, you know, you thought that to yourself. Except, I've seen multiple videos where you've eaten worms. It's happened like at least 3 times.
あれ、パンダ。あ、やばいかも。これなんだろう。キノコだ。おはよう。ここにもいたね。おはよう。ここにもいた。おはよう。
I don't know. I mean, props to him though. That's like fucking strength right there. I mean, like, I guess it checks out though, since he appeared to eat that moth omelet so easily. I guess moths are better than worms. I don't know though. He ate worms more often than moths. There was only 1 moth video I found, but like there are at least 3 worm videos I found. Okay, back to the article. Do you ever get sick? I never got sick. Even I find it hard to believe that I've never even had diarrhea because of the food I eat. Especially during my first year on TikTok. I was not that popular, so all I could afford to eat was rotten food. But yeah, I think I am freakishly healthier than normal people. Or maybe I'm just used to it by now. So yeah, I think that's pretty much all you really need to read to get a sense of how much rotten food Haritsu has eaten and how he feels about it. It seems he still gets grossed out from time to time, so he still has some humanity, but he just has a morbid curiosity with rotted foods. And I guess he has the immune system for it, so like, why not, I guess? If you are blessed with immortality, then why not satisfy your dangerous curiosities? Like, I can't really hate on that as long as you're not endangering other people or yourself, you know? But speaking of other people, the next question is, how do his family and friends feel about this? Do they hate this bad habit of his? Well, according to the article, no. When asked about it, Haritsu said, actually, my friends and family like it. They have known me for so long that whenever they watch my videos, they say, this is Haritsu. They think my content matches who I am as a person. But my parents do get concerned at times. They ask me not to push myself too far. I don't give them any of my moldy food. When they come over, I cook them fresh food because I don't want to be responsible if they get sick. How are your cats? I spend more money on my cats than myself. I feed them cat food. I will never feed my rotten food to cats. There's a little more to the article, but I think at this point we've gotten a pretty good picture of Haritsu. So I'll just link the article in my description below if you want to read the rest of it for yourself. Overall, while I did have an initial gag reflex reaction to this guy's videos, he seems to be a stand-up guy. Not really like sick in the head like people claim, just a self-aware man who chooses to live the way he lives because he can and because he's curious about it. But also also still responsible enough to know not to feed his friends, family, or cats the same food that he eats. Oh, there is one more interview question I want to point out from the article though. Vice asked, any nickname from fans? And Haritsu answered, Kiwami. I have a tattoo written Kiwami. It means the top of the world. I have it on my left hand, which I cook with. I used to be a cook in Indonesia before coming to Japan. I even took a cooking class for a year. Folks, professional chef allegations confirmed. If you guessed that this guy was a professional chef, congratulations, you were correct. Now, I couldn't find what restaurant this guy used to work at, and I wondered if he currently worked at a restaurant or if he even needed to, considering how much success he's gotten on social media. And as I was doing some digging, that's when I saw this story on his Instagram. He was apparently visited by a friend named Austin at his newly opened restaurant. This guy not only worked in the past in a restaurant, but currently operates his own restaurant as head chef. And I discovered that all thanks to some hardcore internet sleuth me. Oh, it looks like I could have just figured that out if I had checked his IG bio. Whoops. Okay, yeah, this is the part where I remind everyone that I don't actually use social media all too much. Haritsu opened his restaurant, Kiwami Resto, around May 25th-ish. At least that's what I'm guessing based on when he posted this post on Instagram, showing off the nice, sanitized, clean kitchen of his restaurant. His restaurant is actually located in Indonesia instead of Japan, so I've deduced that when his friends came over to help him clean, it was actually in preparation for his move back to Indonesia. I'm gonna read the post, but I should note that the post I'm about to show you was originally written in Japanese, so I will be paraphrasing some parts because auto-translate is a bit wonky. But in his post, he says, "My dream came true. After 3.5 years of doing TikTok, I finally managed to open my own restaurant, Polar." That's the Instagram auto-translate translation. As I said, the real name of the restaurant is Kiwami, like the tattoo on his hand that he mentioned in the Vice interview, which we know translates to top of the world in his words. But back to his post. Before I started doing TikTok, I was just a broke college dropout, surviving by eating weeds growing in front of my house every day. The cigarettes are from shikemoku that I picked from the street. Shikemoku being cigarette buds. So he just find random cigarette buds to smoke instead of actually buying cigarettes. And I couldn't pay for gas, and I took a shower with water in the winter and couldn't buy shampoo, so my hair was completely, well, the translation cuts off here, but when I checked the original Japanese, it said kami kachi kachi, which I couldn't exactly find out what kachi kachi means, but using context clues, I'm going to guess that he meant matted. If you know Japanese, feel free to correct me in the comments. Opening my own shop was completely unthinkable at that time. I started doing TikTok and did something people usually don't do. And now I think the translation here is a bit off. I think he more so said something along the lines of he got hurt by people's mean comments. Still, I just wanted to show everyone how I enjoyed life in my own way. For a year, I posted every day and went live, and I was recognized by more and more people. And now people all over the world are watching me. With your support, I have reached this far. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you very much. My next goal is to open a shop in Japan. No matter how many years it takes, I will try until I can make it happen. Until the time comes, everyone please look out for me. Haritsu can still be found making content on TikTok, but I think he's cleaned up a little bit. In his latest videos, even though the food he cooks is still disgusting, you may notice a far less cluttered background compared to his old videos. And again, it's probably because his current living quarters are attached to his restaurant, which regularly gets inspected like 2 times a week according to him, so he can't let it get too dirty. Even on Instagram, I've noticed that he's been reposting old videos so that way he can still like appear active, but I can tell that they're old videos because they'll either have the old setting, his like apartment studio thing from Japan, and they'll have his old bleached hairstyle, which he doesn't have anymore. Not really mad at that though, because like honestly, after hearing about everything this man has been through and how he persisted throughout such a rough time in his life, I gotta say he's overall pretty admirable. So guys, let Haritsu be a lesson for us all. It doesn't matter if you are so strange, so weird, so cursed that people are leaving you hate. As long as you're not actually harming yourself or others, and you keep doing what you do while being authentically yourself, things will pay off in the end. And I want to like clarify, that might look different for everyone. For Haritsu, it was owning 6 cats and opening his own restaurant. And hopefully for me, it means one day I will be able to travel to every single Meow Wolf location in 1 week and not keep eating food that has mold on it by accident. I hope one day I learn my lesson. Anyway guys, that's all I have for us today. Make sure you don't eat any rotted foods unless you were granted immortality like Haritsu. Drink plenty of water, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.
Yes, chef.
Fucking mad!
Yes, chef.